this is my vlog entry for our Session 4 assignment about themes in the Old Testament. In our textbook, Introducing the Old Testament, the author Longman describes the unfortunate hesitation in Christians, as well as myself, to avoid the Old Testament because we can see it as hard, strange, or challenging to read. He challenges this in our book by saying that a knowledge of the Old Testament only deepens our understanding of Jesus and the gospel. And though it is not always easy to read, studying it can enrich our spiritual life and knowledge of God. And I can attest to this through studying the Old Testament more through this course, as well as I've just also in the last year read a lot more of the Old Testament than I ever have. And I've grown to love it and cherish it very deeply because I've grown to see a lot more of how God works and how I am in a part of that story through learning about the Old Testament. I've read it alongside of a devotional called Enduring Word that I can pair alongside whatever scripture I'm reading, and it will give me context, word definition, and just kind of more of what the scripture is saying, and it breaks down a lot of the hard chapters that I cannot understand single-handedly and can explain it to me in a little bit easier of terms, which has really grown my scripture reading. The two themes that I have chosen to specifically discuss in this video are woven throughout all of the Old Testament and the bigger storyline are God's covenant nature and human sin of idolatry. To begin, covenants are promises made by God to his creation and from him, and covenants are reflective of how God works in relationships and what he expects through these covenants, as well as the promises that he keeps. Through our coursework and lecture videos, I have found the 5 biblical covenants, which include the Noahic, Abrahamic, Mosaic, Davidic, and the New Covenant. These covenants are found predominantly in Genesis. They are also found in Exodus, Deuteronomy, 1 Samuel 7, and then the New Covenant is realized multiple times and continually throughout the New Testament. The importance of covenants is that they demonstrate multiple pieces of God's character, his dependability, consistency, and expectation of relationships. God keeps all of his covenants and sets them up in the beginning of his relationships with Abraham, and he hasn't broken them and he stays true to them. The second theme that I find important and prominent throughout scripture is idolatry. And according to our lecture video, idolatry is the practice of recognizing or worshiping anything other than Yahweh as God. And I think that this can play into very big things, such as where it is found in scripture, including 1 Samuel, where they would worship actual idols and statues above God and declare that as God and not Yahweh. And our lecture video kind of talks about that as you're looking God as our creator in the face and saying, no, you are not king, you are not God, you are not Yahweh, but looking somewhere else and saying that is king, that is Yahweh, or that is worthy of my praise, when that is sin, and only God is worthy of our praise and worship, and that heart posture towards anything of that God is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And as pointed out in our textbook and lecture videos, the first 4 commandments and the 10 commandments all tie into idolatry, which kind of goes to say the importance of idolatry, but also the unfortunate widespread effect that it has because it is so often committed. It breaks God's heart, but it also calls him to condemn it more heavily because it is so bad. In conclusion, these 2 themes are opposite but reflective of the Old Testament as God is a creator, because it shows God is consistent and dependable and trustworthy, and then alongside of it, the only thing that we prove ourselves as consistent is our sin through idolatry and through consistently choosing other things other than God. I consider covenants to be very vital in understanding God as a creator and father, because of what it reflects about him through relationships, which is how we operate with him is in relationship. And it is important to see how he works in them, but also what he expects and how we should act in these relationships. God says in scripture, "For great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the peoples are idols, but the Lord made the heavens." Psalms 96, 4-5. for he is creator and he alone should be praised. And I think that I personally have seen the value of specifically learning about God through the Old Testament, through the themes of the Old Testament, which include covenant and idolatry. One of what people show themselves in a theme, and then one of how God is, the theme of covenants, and how he, even though we commit sin and idolatry, he keeps his covenant and he keeps his word even when we fail. So thank you.